All right, welcome back to People to People. We're here with our guest, Morgan Elise Johnson, founder and publisher of The Tribe, Danielle Sanders, managing editor of Chicago News Weekly, and WVON's Rufus Williams. But let's get into what you guys do best, hitting the headlines. So let's talk about this. We have Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson. Next week is a big week coming up for him, but he got a lot on his hands that we got to see unfold. What are we expecting as this happens?
Brandon's got a big job. And when you start to think about all the departments that need to be filled, police being one, he's got a school board he's got to fill, he's got all the city departments to deal with. At the same time, homelessness, migrants coming in, and that's all big and big all over the country. There's just a lot to do. So, we talked about this before. It was interesting to run and want to become mayor, but now the dog caught the bus. And there's so much that's on that bus and so much that needs to be handled. And I know he's making his rounds. He's in Springfield, he's in Washington. He's got his transition team in place. There's a lot to be done. And, this election of Brandon Johnson was truly an election on hope. And we hope that we think that it's there with him. And to the people that I've talked with, there's a sense that this is everybody's end. We've got to make this work because that's the only way it works for our city.
Because that last election, it felt like that was an election of hope as well. And talk to me, you got something?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I think that Mayor Lightfoot ran as a reformer, but there was a cohort of abolitionist organizers who opposed her election as well. Her as a Rahm Emanuel appointee and as head of the Chicago Police Board, she wasn't a so-called progressive mayor to that group of people. So I think that she was able to capture the imaginations of a lot of Chicagoans, but quickly began to roll back some of those progressive promises that she made, such as saying no to the Cop Academy, for instance, which we now have on the west side of Chicago.
So do you fear that we could see the same thing with Brandon Johnson? Will people have the same ideas 4 years from now?
Well, I think that we have to look at who's backing Brandon Johnson and the work that we're going to do as a community. I'm seeing in the Tribe's timeline and in our social media feed that the organizers and community members are having post-election meetings. They're saying, how can we hold Brandon Johnson accountable and what work do we need to do to make sure that this administration is successful? So to me, that's a very good sign. When the people are empowered and the people are going to work, then I feel like we have a better chance rather than putting all of our hopes on one person. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah, there was also and just to piggyback on that, there was a lot of union involvement in this last election. And a lot of union involvement behind both candidates, Paul Vallas and Brandon Johnson. So when we start to look at what the progressive agenda will be, the question still is how involved will they be? And does that help to move that agenda, which will dictate whether or not people will be satisfied or not?
Gotcha. Real fast, what are some hopes that you are looking to see with Brandon Johnson coming in and being the mayor? Just go down real fast.
I'm really hoping that Brandon makes good on his promise regarding homelessness and regarding youth employment. I know that was one of the things he talked about wanting to implement right away. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like and how fast he's able to do it.
I hope that he can coalesce the business community and all of those who were really pushing behind Paul Vallas. We have a very splintered city based on the vote. So my hope is that all those who were on the other side will join behind him as we talk about all of us needing to make this work. That's really what he needs to bring in.
Gotcha. What about you?
I hope that he works to address the mental health crisis also happening in the city, because that can be it can really set the table for how mental health is handled in cities across the country.
Gotcha. Well, it's a lot of work that he has to do. And we'll see in 4 years, we'll all come back here and talk about it. See, like, are we in the same place we were when he started, and have we changed in the end? But thank you guys so much. You can find The Tribe at thetribewith2eyes.com. For more Danielle and Chicago News Weekly, visit chicagonewsweeklymedia.com, and you can find Rufus on WVON every week from 6 to 9 a.m.